What is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And first and foremost, I apologize for not posting any videos lately for like the better part of a week, or if not a week. But it was kind of a weird week with work, putting in some extra hours, especially during the holiday time. You know, I've been the one kind of filling in, so to speak. You know what? You know, whenever there's an empty spot, I kind of fill in. You know what I mean? That's what she said. But that's not exactly what this video is about. I've also been putting in a shit ton of time over the weekends on streaming. I've been kind of going Demi Lovato Pro, as Thunder likes to say, on streaming. And quick shout out to you guys that have been coming out. We're almost at 200 followers. There was only a couple of weeks ago where we were in the 160s. It's been absolutely tremendous. I look forward to streaming again later today and within the week. I'll be making a separate video about specific details, but that's not what this video is about. So we're gonna stay away from that, and we're gonna dedicate a specific video, which is probably gonna be long, to that subject and another one. But holy shit, the other day, when was it? Yesterday or the day before? My favorite Black Ops game ever. Well, let me rephrase that. My favorite Call of Duty game ever of all time, Black Ops 2, was trending on Twitter. 7 years later after its release, it was trending on Twitter, and this is absolutely amazing. Now, obviously this was because Charlie Intel, you know, pretty much put out this poll, and the next thing you know, it was so popular that it made #1 on trending, which is absolutely amazing. And quite frankly, Charlie Intel should be doing that shit a lot more, because it's a really good way for us to get our word out there, and for the possibility of Activision as well as the developers seeing that shit. Like, hey, we want this. It's not just, you know, it's not just the hardcore Call of Duty community. It could be the vast majority of the Call of Duty community. Now, I know, Black Ops 2, some of you guys hate it, but besides the sniping, besides that, wouldn't you guys at least agree that Black Ops 2 really is one of the best Call of Duties ever? I mean, some people hate the shit out of it, I understand, for the reason of sniping, but other than that, if you do still hate that game, I would really like to know why. But other than that, for the most part, from everything I've seen after I clicked on it and to see and everything, most people were like making their own lists of their top Call of Duty games ever and why. By the way, if you want me to make a video covering that, which I haven't yet, let me know down in the comment section, let things known. And of course, you could always reach out to me on Twitter. Again, links in the description below. Or you could talk to me on stream. Again, links in the description below. But with that being said, we're going to get into the gameplay commentary right now. We're gonna discuss this a little bit more in depth. Because honestly, this could, I mean, I know that it was a Charlie Intel thing and not an Activision thing. It's not like Treyarch or Activision posted, hey, Black Ops 2 7 years later or something like that, and then that ended up trending. No, it was a Charlie Intel thing. But with that being said, you could read between the lines and kind of put two and two together and maybe remain hopeful for the future, and which I'll discuss in the gameplay commentary. I honestly think that it won't be too long now until we get a remaster of Black Ops 2, and obviously I think Black Ops 1 will probably be released first. But with that being said, more in the gameplay commentary. As always, uncensored, unfiltered, uncircumcised, relentless, and let's get into the gameplay. Alright guys, and you know, first and foremost, it really is amazing, isn't it? It really is amazing that 7 years later after a specific game's release, how it could really go back to being #1 trending on Twitter. I mean, maybe for some of you guys, it might not be as amazing as it is to me. Or maybe I'm just suffering from nostalgia and the fact that Black Ops 2 is my favorite COD of all time. But to me, I mean, regardless of the fact, it just really is still amazing. I mean, I know it wasn't anything posted by Activision or Treyarch like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but it really just is fascinating how something of the past can generate that much hype to where all of a sudden on Twitter, for a certain amount of time, I think it was for the majority of the day on that day, or maybe even the whole day if memory serves correctly, and I could be off on that, but I do know that it was for a while that it was trending, and that's fucking awesome. So here is the thing. Now the big question of the day is, will we ever get a Black Ops 2 remastered, and if so, when? So the thing is this. Now here is what I'm getting at. So within the last couple years, mainly with Black Ops 4 and as well as Modern Warfare, it's been very evident that cut and paste is not really something new now. They've done it twice in a row now, 2 years in a row. And if they could do it with a new game's release, so to speak, right? Well, can't they do it with a remastered? I mean, they originally did the original COD 4 Remastered with this game here, with Infinite Warfare, and I'm sure the game sold just a little bit more than it would have otherwise if they didn't do that, if they didn't do the bundle. You know, for $20 extra, you get COD 4 Remastered. Now, granted, people have been saying it doesn't play quite as the same as it did back then. I mean, it also depends on the platform as well. Like, for consoles, that's one thing, but for PC, I think PC, just in general, is a little bit more fast-paced than it is on console, especially for a game like COD 4. Because if you look at on console, it's just a lot slower. I mean, granted, it could be the FOV, but with that being said, every time when that game came out, when I was looking at the screen, you know, PC was just so much more fast-paced, and it looked like everybody was moving around a lot more. But back in the day, COD 4 in general on console, just everybody was just moving around, and in this day and age, it just didn't seem to be the case. And I've mentioned that before in previous videos, and I have the same opinion about Modern Warfare 2. Like, a lot of people want Modern Warfare 2 remastered, and they were very much looking forward into that. And it still could be a possibility that it could release within the next few months, I guess, according to rumor. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I'm not subscribed to the Gaming Revolution, so I don't know if he made videos about that or if he did. I don't know what exactly he mentioned in terms of specifics. But one thing that I will say is that even though it's something that'll generate hype, it won't play the exact same way because of the way the game is designed. Now, granted, is it designed as to be as campy as Modern Warfare is? No, I don't think so. The maps are a lot more defensive, but the thing is, no, it's not as designed as to be as defensive as the new Modern Warfare. So it'll play better, but it won't. Don't be surprised if it just doesn't play the same, because the same thing happened with COD 4 Remastered. So, but with all that being said, Black Ops 2 definitely does have a chance of Black Ops 2 Remastered does have a chance of happening. And the thing is this: if that game wasn't hacked at this current state, in the state that it is today, there would be even more evidence to suggest that Black Ops 2 will come back remastered, and hopefully sooner rather than later. Because the thing is, the player count would be all the evidence you need, because back then Black Ops 2 was still a game that included the player count. So if that game wasn't hacked the way it is, that player count average would be a hell of a lot higher. I think we would still be possibly in the 100,000s, if not, let's say at the least 50,000 people online for the console of their choice. So, especially on Xbox. So, with all that being said, there's also something else. In the state of the rumors that have been going around, well, not rumors, it's actually factual now. Before Modern Warfare released, we got news that Raven and Sledgehammer Games were basically arguing with each other to the point to where they just couldn't make a game, and they ended up falling behind. I think the campaign was completed, but in terms of the overall game, in terms of the multiplayer and some other stuff, I guess a lot of people left, and basically Treyarch, long story short, Treyarch had to step in order to fill the gap. So the next Black Ops game, so to speak, is going to be like a Treyarch Sledgehammer Games Raven hybrid, I guess. And so that is actually, to a certain degree, that's even kind of more evidence, because if the game ends up being incomplete, there's going to be a lot of cut and paste. A lot of people, including those of you on stream that I've been talking to, as well as the comment section, and even on Twitter, have been telling me that the game itself is going to be a shit show. And a lot of you actually, some of you actually don't have any hope for the next game. I mean, I have hopes that it'll play better at the very least. I don't know what the content will include, but here is the thing. Here's what I'm getting at. Now, if the content is going to be lacking, so to speak, right? Or if they're afraid of getting backlash, kind of like they were with Infinite Warfare, because once the Infinite Warfare trailer released, they everybody saw that it was one of the most hated or disliked videos in Twitter history, or excuse me, YouTube history. So, in order to kind of counter for that, granted, I guess it was in development for way before they released that, but Activision are no stupid people. So, I mean, they might be clueless at times, sure, but they're not stupid. But the thing is that they kind of knew that this might be coming. So what did they do? They decided for just an extra $20, which is a hell of a discount if you ask me, you could buy, with Infinite Warfare, you would have Modern Warfare Remastered included. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again. And how many times throughout Call of Duty has history repeated itself, especially within the last couple of years? So it wouldn't really be that surprising to see, like, let's say, for example, a Black Ops 1 remastered to go along with the new Black Ops game, honestly, if you think about it. So, and they are using the Black Ops name, so it's like, hey, if they're going to use the Black Ops name, it would make sense for that to happen, wouldn't it? As I fall off the map over here. But now, the reason why I say Black Ops 1 is because obviously they kind of go in order when it comes to things like this. I mean, they don't necessarily have to, but they could. And I know we're talking about Black Ops 2 trending. So, but the thing is, if Black Ops 1 gets remastered, and if that's something that trended, it only increases the possibility of the game trending again. And the thing is, according to the polls that I've seen and people's opinions of their top 10, in a lot of people's lists, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 are in their top 3. And a lot of times it's either Black Ops 2 that's number 1 and Black Ops 1 is number 2, or vice versa. In other words, Black Ops 1 is number 1 and Black Ops 2 is number 2. And for me, it's Black Ops 2 is number 1 and Black Ops 1 is in a very close second. It would be, if there were a couple little changes with Black Ops 1, it might even be a tie. And those couple changes would be the Ghost FAMAS second chance thing, and if they replaced second chance with Stalker, that would have been awesome. So that way you can strafe shoot really fast with assault rifles, which would have made the game even more addictive. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, because the maps were solid, the guns were solid, maybe a little bit of a buff to a couple of the SMGs. And no, I'm not talking about the MP5K or the AK-74U. Those could stay as they were, but I'm talking about some of the other SMGs that were hardly ever used. So yeah, that is basically what my thoughts are on the subject, guys. I mean, I really think it's fascinating, especially with all this time that's passed, and how something like this could come aboard again. And you know what? Charlie Intel needs to do some polls like this a lot more often, because Twitter is a major platform now. Back in the day, there were a couple of people that thought that Twitter was stupid, but lo and behold, all these years later, Twitter is one of the biggest platforms till this day. And quite frankly, it's amazing. It's a really good way to keep in touch with the people that you wouldn't be able to keep in touch with to a certain degree otherwise. So, with all that being said, guys, what is your opinions? What are the chances of us getting a Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 remastered sometime in the near future? What do you think the chances are of it being bundled again with the next Black Ops game that's coming out, or the next Treyarch game, or even the next game after that, or whatever happens after? What do you guys think the chances are? And the thing is, there's also the possibility that it could be released 6 months after, like, let's say the next Black Ops release, to kind of keep things fresh, so to speak. So with all this said, what do you think the chances are, and when do you think we're going to get them? I don't know exactly. I don't know. I keep on going back and forth. So maybe within the next 3 years at the latest, give or take. And if not, I mean, with the bundle, do you guys think it's going to happen? I personally hope it'll happen with the bundle, because I'm all about having things sooner rather than later. Oh, man. But anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you for all the continued support on the videos as well as the streams. We finally hit 1,300 subscribers. We were finally able to get out of the hole that we've been in for the last year. Thank you so very much. I'll be making another video soon, and I'll catch you guys on the next one and on the next stream.